champions and smashes tank matchups. Other champions like Aatrox, which is not as much reliant on being counterpick, are also quite good into stuff like Ornn, Trundle. You know, obviously there are things you can go for. Let's see about this opening though, because EG started the exact same way, grabbing up the Zeri. Response is definitely different here from Cloud9 though, going for more of the 5-on-5 team fight here for Jinx Tahm Kench instead of the pushing Lux Caitlyn combination. Much more safety this time around for the bottom lane of Cloud9.
Yeah, EG didn't like it either, banning Caitlyn away actually. I think didn't fancy what happened in the 2v2, so do make an alteration. C9 also respecting the power of Lee Sin, banning it themselves despite Blabber looking great on it all playoffs long. So it is Jarvan for Inspired and Jojo back on Old Faithful Victor in the mid lane.
Shout out to the Yuumi this time around from Cloud9 with the hover as well. But really, yeah, what are you going to do into this? Because they throw down an early Jarvan pick here for EG, not even seeing some vulnerabilities on the side of Cloud9 yet. So Fudge easily takes a response of the Corki. Valkyrie definitely quite useful versus Jarvan ganks, and is going to try and scale up into the late game poke monster that you still know. Yes, there were the nerfs to package timings, and so it's harder to sync those up for dragons for objectives, but does give you still that very strong late game rocket poke damage.
Interesting. So Yuumi banned by C9 kind of makes sense. Don't want to give that over to Danny and Vulcan again. Also Inspired and Vulcan had great pairing in game number 1, even though it isn't Nocturne, it is Jarvan. But Jace actually going to get banned this time. I thought Impact and EG handled Summit perfectly in game number 1. So interesting to see that they want to continue to respect the Jace here, banning it in phase 2.
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit different when you have Nocturne versus Jarvan, as Nocturne puts tremendous threat on any aggressive matchup that wants to start pushing out like that, and we saw constant Nocturne punishments. Jarvan, though, is also quite good, just doesn't have as much of a range of punishing those side lanes, so they've still got their options available. Little shout out to LS from the Cloud9 side, though, for the possibilities. Okay, there's one of the champions I mentioned. The Trundle is locked in even before the super tank is shown, though. Currently, the only tank is, of course, Jarvan, so it's a bit early on the Trundle. It's a little bit of a preemptive Trundle pick. I still support it, though. I think Trundle is, regardless, a pretty universally good champion, very good at taking down objectives, does scale well regardless. And Cloud9 this time around very clearly are looking for more scaling and more team fight. They've got the Jinx Corki carries already locked in for themselves, so they wanted to be able to even shred whatever EG frontline starts to come their way.
Pillar feels pretty decent against EG's carries, especially their mid laner. Obviously, Zeri can be frustratingly mobile.
Yeah, actually sucks against Zeri because she could jump through it.
She has her jump.
And she can fire her laser through it as well.
Oh no, the anti-combos. Hey, look, it's on.
Yeah, big surprise, Facey time. The blind pick tank
was surprise.
You have a weird surprise response. Big surprise, though. The question that we said and we posed in game number 1 was not answered sufficiently. So EG are like, great, if you failed the test the first time around, we're going to give you the same test. How do you like that? What's your response? They did early lock in the Trundle, though. So they do have options for later shredding it, the resistances for team fights. Plus, giving Summit the Camille does have a lot of options for roaming around. If the Ornn is just going to soak the waves in side lane, then the Camille gets first move, and Camille has very oppressive chase down, can have ganks on other lanes as well as a top laner, and has the true damage to come through off of second Q. So it is an adaptation from Cloud9. It's not as extreme an adaptation as I theory crafted, but we shall see if it does work out in this one, because EG, Jojo, even when he's on the Victor, he will push the Victor side of the Corki Victor matchup harder than any other mid laner that we have seen, because he takes Scorch, he takes all of these early game runes to do it. Plus, I am on the side of the Victor matchup early, is already the better side of the classic Corki Victor matchup, even though they both scale.
Alrighty, Cloud9, I think changing speeds a little.
I've got some spice for you already because I was watching the chat, and the first thing JoJo says when he gets into game is Gathering Storm. As we mentioned, he always wants to take Scorch. He always this time around he's got Transcendence plus Scorch plus the Time Warp Tonic for the possible baits there with the instant heal. But I love it, the trash talk going through, and that just validates that we want to move our magnifying glass towards that mid lane.
Yep.
You know, toward this young guy. EG puts so much faith and so much effort into bringing up young North American talent. Both Danny and JoJo are great success stories of that, working through the North American talent system, coming up from amateur very, very rapidly. The ascent for both of these guys, and now JoJo is in his first LCF playoffs in his first year. And it could be the organization's overall first finals if they could make their way all the way to Houston and win there as well to get to finals. It's just such a tremendous pathway ahead of this Evil Geniuses squad. And since they've opened up the series with a Game 1 win, they're feeling quite confident with it. Summit, though, going in to check and just get a little visual confirmation that there is a topside start for Inspired. So it's interesting because he does not drop his Trinket Ward. I'm a big fan for top laners getting that Trinket between Blue and Gromp, but he does basically that by getting early confirmation that Inspired is starting on Blue. The one caveat I would say is that Jarvan can gank at level 2. And so even though he starts topside, it doesn't mean that he's not going to gank you on a level 2 timing. And I have seen, again, Summit ganked on literally every timing in the book because they're very frequently rewarded, and he trades very heavily, and you can see he's already at 50% health. As you already can see by the minimap, though, it is going to be just the normal clear here for Jarvan away from top lane.
Yeah, the other big battle's actually been mid lane, as you kind of predicted. Fudge winning right now with the early CS lead, but they are just going at it, shooting each other with lasers and rockets and bullets. So definitely potions ripped through. Inspired actually going to be spotted here mid lane, so Fudge should not fall prey to this attempt. Is level 3 as well, so now extra safe with Valkyrie skilled up if he didn't have it already.
Yeah, and Valkyrie costs a lot of mana too. So even if you can force the Corki to Valkyrie, 100 mana is nothing to shrug off in lane phase, where the Victor, again, that side of the matchup, I feel is the aggressive part, as Fudge actually jumps on in on it.
Ooh, it's aggressive!
Nice.
Just gonna force the flash. Blabber's here as well, just gonna walk on in, put up the pillow. Oh, it's going flash! Fast blood from Blabber!
The chomp from Blabber here. And it is
Summit! Oh my god, what a flash from Impact!
It is set up by Fudge. We mentioned the mentality of these two mid laners. We mentioned this rivalry that has been brewing between JoJo and Fudge. They've been trash talking constantly. JoJo saying he's going to send Fudge back to top lane. Well, Fudge with that Valkyrie Fossbomb trade and forcing the flash just sent JoJo back to the fountain for a brief time as Blabber came through on the response gank after Inspired was the first one there. It's just really well played with the information from Cloud9. And again, they've both got wards. You see those two wards? The blue one expires. So critically, the EG information is gone now, and Fudge knows this. He goes in, he gets his Fossbomb trade. There's no flash now for JoJo, and Blabber says, you can't even walk towards your tower with the W move speed. That W from the ground there gives him the move speed to get in place for the pillar, and the flash chomp makes good on the trade. Just very good coordination and use of information manipulation here by Cloud9. Fudge says, hey, their ward just expired because our trinket was later in the river. It saw that ward expired. Come over to mid lane. I will go for the aggressive trade on him. He Valk Foss bombs to force the flash out of JoJo. And because the ward had expired, JoJo was walked back into mid lane. It's just really, really nicely done with the small timings and those windows that are afforded to you by paying very close attention to what information you have as opposed to your opponents. And a much needed response from Cloud9, Pastry, because game number 1 going so heavily the way of Evil Geniuses. I watched yesterday. I want another game 5.
Oh, absolutely. I will be very upset if I leave today with any less than 5 games. So I don't know who can arrange that, but I'd love it. We'll see what happens though. Fudge did not take kindly to Inspired, ganking him when the cannon was low. That was a good timing, of course, but Fudge losing the cannon means that he's the rage overtakes him and he goes for JoJo, and Blabber cleans it up nicely. There is 5 people in mid lane, but Fudge just guiding the wave in. Not too much health, so C9 just going to get a little bit aggressive, make sure this wave moves on in. And oh goodness, they're actually going for the engage. The knockup, I think, barely missing from Isles. And now the counter gank here from Inspired. Vulcan moved up as well. Flashes in, gets the slow, gets the root. Blabber in so much trouble. But Trundle's pretty tanky, not tanky enough. Jojo gets his own kill.
It's funny that we were just mentioning yesterday's series, Pacey, because mid-lane minion waves were a war that was fought over yesterday as well. And it is, again, the case today. This time around, with no flashes on any of the members, there were so many small things in that attempt to push that led up to this counter from EG. Yes, Cloud9, Fudge is low, so they call 3 members to help him push that wave in, but you saw Jojo use his gravity field on the 4 ranged minions. And 4 ranged minions is enough DPS to push and hold a freeze anywhere, even with the early arrival of your minions. So they knew that they had to push past that gravity field, and that caused Cloud9 to overextend. Blabber had no flash, so he got chunked out.
Summit low in mana, but definitely winning the 1v1 right now. Impact holding on as far as CS goes, but obviously Summit has the run of the 1v1 with no jungle attention.
Plus, with no extra attention towards topside, Summit finally gets a lane where he can fully abuse his advantage. And he's got a cull on top of the possible dive.
Level 6 on, but pretty low hit for Impact. Great double knockup. Here comes the on horn, and there's Summit going in. He dodges the ulti and gets the 1v1 kill, and he gets out.
Beautiful stuff here. Very easy to use your immunity frames
but don't
there.
be greedy.
Yeah, finishes off the extra minions, and let's see how the cooldown on hookshot is looking.
It's up. Summit's like, yep, I'm chilling. He's hiding. All right, can't hide. Summit, Precision Protocol buffs, and Inspired's going to finish this off. Jungler gets the kill. Yep, Inspired takes the gold.
It's funny, Pacey, after every successful Cloud9 move this game, there has quickly been a response from Evil Geniuses. And although it is less flashy, it is equally, if not more, successful because the EG counter push always results in some minion advantage as well and leads to a very marginal gold lead instead for Evil Geniuses, despite the successes that we have seen initially from Cloud9.
Definitely not the same time of this game, though, that the last one had, so C9 can lean on a more even game here in the earlier stages, but obviously you want to get Summit as much space as you can. You want to maybe get some pressure here onto Danny, but I don't think he's particularly unsafe. Sorry, even just playing up with the wave, knowing Vulcan's coming back. And actually, ooh, Danny's going to go for it there. Just lets it rip. Isles is going to have to back away, does get out safely, but Danny still shooting. Berserker low, forced to burn the heal. Danny just firing away.
Pretty good health chunk there in exchange for the all-in. It does time out the ultimate now while Blabber is around. So I wonder, there's a slight possibility there's some sort of punish mint on the bottom side, but again, there are all summoners available on Danny, and Zeri has many options to deal with terrain influences, so shouldn't be very vulnerable. I do like just using the ultimate for big chunks of health there. If you know you're not actually going to go into a Dragon or Rift Herald fight, just getting your priority on lane, forcing the Cloud9 duo back, knowing that they will not be able to transition up to the top side first. They're actually keeping them pinned under tower while Blabber and Fudge move in response to this Rift Herald, which they've got a ward on the whole
2v2, Blabber gets knocked up, the Chaos Storm is dropped, and Jojo finds the kill. Fudge barely able to Valk out of the way, Inspired low but not dead, and that's a free one.
Yeah, it is a free one, Pacey, and it happened so fast. I was so surprised there that they just walk right up to the Jarvan combo with Victor there. It's so effective if you can just EQ out of the brush and have the Victor damage right on top of it. Blabber just gets annihilated before there's even any response.
Nice little ulti there for Summit. Dodges the incoming impact charge. Summit, wants to trade more, but knows that there are more people in the top half of the Rift, so not going to overextend.
Yeah, they've still got this ward that lets them know, okay, the Rift Herald has been taken, but there's nothing they can do about it this time around since they just walked up and got comboed previously. And plus with your Rift Herald recall, he's going to get out and reset extremely quickly back to the bottom side of the map. So no Dragon traded. There's no extra, influence here given up to the side of Cloud9 from EG. And EG just, again, slowly plodding along in this game with Rift Herald in their pocket, plus the marginal gold lead off the 2 kills for Jojo Pyun. And by the way, since it's Victor, I always love mentioning this, that it also accelerates the upgrades for your Hex Core, which are critical for this champion. It's a champion that does scale, and that scaling is always the part that is highlighted. But to Jojo's point of taking early game runes, it actually does have a big influence if you can take early game runes and get takedowns with them, because it actually further accelerates your scaling with your hex core upgrade. So both of the kills going to him. He's definitely happy to be involved in that early action and be the one getting paid.
All right, it is the long con here, but that package there from Fudge is going to have to be burnt. Vulcan appears at the perfect time to blow that cooldown, but Cloud9 are going to get the first dragon, unless... Nope, nothing going on. Blabber gets it.
It has been the story of the series thus far. EG getting their gold leads, Cloud9 getting the dragons. This is much later into the game too, so there will not be a threat of an early rush on dragons. As you also pointed out though, the team comps are very different for Cloud9, especially this time around, and so they are not pigeonholed as much as they were last time around. I mean, picking Jace top lane and Caitlyn Lux bottom lane puts you in such a tight timer with very little room for error. Almost no margin for error on that. Like, you have to play so aggressively and so effectively to be able to snowball that. This one, there is definitely more leeway.
Danny roaming around, but just going to leave the area. Berserker Niles have had the worst end of the 2v2, but not too bad as far as gold goes, I'm sure. For the Jinx, again, Cloud9's bottom lane, definitely playing more like they're scaling cells. Blabber is going to get involved here, though, but it's a 3v2. Jarvan over the top, the Devour's burnt down, and Isles just gets killed off by Jojo, and Fired locked in the pit, though. Fudge able to get that kill in the Jarvan Cataclysm, and Blabber now going to get jumped on. Danny looking to try and find the solo, donates the goal over to Jojo.
He doesn't even want to turn around and use the blast cone either, basically. He's like, forget the blast cone. I'm not letting you out of my sight for a second. He stays on him. He flashes over in the end. They get the extra kill. Vulcan's even going to harass Fudge more. Thankfully for Fudge, he does have red buff for a little bit of regeneration, and it's just going to be the wave pushed in from EG. But the problem continues to be exacerbated here, Pastry. More and more fights won by EG and more gold. The mid lane is a team objective, Pastry. The mid
I know, I hate
wave
it every game.
push is such a team objective, and I like the evolution as we've seen more and more teams be willing to commit all of these resources to it.
I like this as well. Popping the Herald, a little late, but find a perfect time for it. Just about going to get all the plates down. In fact, Jojo's going to stick around and make sure that happens. Fudge has to base. Blabber's not a threat. Okay, the Herald dies, so now the tower is. So Jojo not going to get it just yet, but has more than a minute to farm the last plate off if he wants it.
I mean, he's 4-1. This is...
Yeah, it's a big victor.
I love that the analyst desk also talked about the confidence of Jojo that he shows already at such a young age in his first LCS year, in his first LCS split. He's so incredibly confident when you've got 4 kills on Victor early too, and you've completed your Ludens while everybody else is still scrambling in this game. There's no surprise that he is going to push as hard as he possibly can.
Sometimes that does cost Jojo, though. That's been the one continual thing pointed out as him as a player. In lane, incredible.
As is
out
the
of
case.
lane, sometimes makes some errors.
Yeah.
But not this game, not right now.
Always have to worry about the hubris taking over.
He's a rookie. Sometimes, it gets hyphy.
Especially since, again, we are in the lower bracket here. So this is elimination game. You cannot afford to make large mistakes later on into the game. And it's a good point that you bring up because we've been tracking this for all of spring. You mentioned the success in lane and kind of the ego part of gameplay. Laning phase is of course the ego part of gameplay, and then you transition into the team fight phases towards the mid stages, and that has been where some of the EG losses and a large majority of these have kind of slipped away from them have actually occurred. But so far in this series, that has not been the problem for them, and especially this early game going so well. This will be tower number 2 already knocked down for them. You can see on the minimap though, Cloud9 making a play on top side. They sent Blabber up to Summit to try and trade on top side tower. So he's hovering around threatening Impact to make Impact back off, and they can hopefully get some tower gold back for themselves because EG have overloaded the bottom side of the map, and they're not stopping pushing either. 3 members circling on tower number 2.
Yeah, this FTX gold advantage feels like it's starting to snowball in the wrong direction for the Cloud9 fans. It was, tenable for a while at 600 or so, but they're just adding more as Fudge forced to flash away from Inspired. EG, we're going to take down this tower. Yes, Summit's going to trade, but the T2s are worth so much bonus gold.
800 for the team with local and with team-wide gold for you. So huge rewards there in advance of the dragon. And here goes Summit trying to
Ooh, it's going to be close. Impact has to just stand there and take the pain. 1v1 Summit, they're not going to be able to get it. It was awfully close. Summit burnt the flash as well. Impact also flashed in that play. But Impact does live. That's the important part.
They're trying to add some more hype to the player. They're like, oh, do you know?
Yeah, a little jump cut back in.
Getting a little low. Maybe he went for the dive. It is the flash, though. It was Flash's traded. I believe was the off-screen trade that we did miss there towards the tower. And in the end, I honestly think that is actually detrimental for Summit. A flash for Ornn, not the biggest of issues. Impact is definitely one of those seasoned players that can get off like flash charge plays. You know, if someone's too close to a wall, we'll punish them. But for the majority of the time, I think flash on Camille is more threatening for the pickoff, because Camille here is picked in order to kill either Victor or Zeri. You know, getting one of these carries isolated. And in this case, your eyes are on Victor. Victor is the super fed carry for EG. They need to get him down if they're going to, you know, make much headway in these team fights. Again, though, EG continue on giving up dragons. They are unperturbed by the dragon stacking for Cloud9. This game is much further delayed, so also very reasonable in this one to give them up.
Yeah, getting extra gold as well. They got the Herald, which presumably will turn into some gold. Danny gets actual gold into his team's pockets, taking out the outer tower here in top lane. And EG maybe looking for something here in mid. Lasers thrown out, but Berserker and Isle is going to be A-okay.
It's a very interesting strategy that we're seeing repeated by the evil geniuses, and it is pick some scaling options, not all scaling, so that we have somewhere to work off of. But with those scaling options, the Victor, you know, and the Ornn, we're also trying to get gold objectives early, not dragon objectives, because dragon objectives have to peak earlier, and you have to fight on the soul to be able to actually accrue it. The scaling picks, if they get gold early, then you can fight them off of those dragon soul fights.
Yeah, this gold advantage is getting out of hand. Berserker ate a massive laser out of Jojo, who's 4-1-0, careening towards item number 2. Couldn't defend there with the Rift Herald number 2 taking out the tower. Danny's back in top side. Yeah, so much pressuring the side lane, right? Like, he is very potent in the 1v1. With free time on the towers, can take them pretty quickly, but Impact just doesn't care.
And some of the problems that Cloud9 will probably begin to face here now are that even though they have a Trundle, and so you think, oh, we can Trundle ult the Ornn and play front to back. The problem is that you don't get, since your front line is not as sturdy, you know, Trundle coming from jungle is much underfed. Summit, though, is the next target. Summit targeted again. He gets knocked up and he gets closed in.
I mean, this far up, no flash. What are you supposed to do? Unfortunately for Summit, the answer is going to be die. He's going to look to try and take out Impact, but he's in a 1v4. He's not going to get the trade, and Jojo, of all people, gets kill number 5.
So he gets picked up again, and Cloud9, what do they get for a pastry time? Nothing. A big old goose egg here for Cloud9. Unable to punish anything, because you would have to have other lanes pushed up to objectives to really make the most out of Summit drawing multiple members to that side lane. Because that did not happen, there is no real response here. And so it is just more gold positive plays on the side of EG, so carefully calculated from the evil geniuses. They saw the strategies that 100 Thieves exposed the entire league versus Cloud9. And I credit 100 Thieves with kind of the downfall of Cloud9 throughout this summer split, because you remember back to the story of this split, Cloud9 dominated. They were looking again like they were on a clear pathway to number 1. Blabber playing out of his mind. Summit constantly dominating top lanes, huge top diffs every game. Berserker crushing team fights. And then the change happened. The mountain came. 100 Thieves crafted specifically their strategy versus Cloud9. They defeat them super weak. Cloud9 start dropping games. They defeat them again in playoffs. Cloud9 dropping down to the lower bracket. And everybody now trying to repeat.
Oh, it's a painful Berserker. Wrong brush in that one there.
Yeah, they have no control of the map. They've lost full control because EG focused so heavily on these early gold objectives and map control. Thank you, observers, for toggling the vision, because this is how dark and bleak it looks for Cloud9. The pick onto the Jinx means they've got no power for their team fight now. Fudge is trying to scale. He's got his Muramana completed, but his Ludens is not done.
Summit, I think, yeah, just trying to be cheeky, but he's going to get somewhat punished. That Chaos Storm is a significant chunk of damage. even with only a couple ticks. And EG get what they really came for in this play, taking another tier 2 off the map Kobe. 6 towers to 1, and a whole bunch of gold still in EG's favor.
Yeah, and all this, it's also just so funny to me that all of these kills have gone into JoJo, and you're just like, where's our best possible area to funnel gold? Guess what? JoJo's getting all the last hits. This is a 6-kill Victor. And to our point earlier, if you're picking some champions that scale very well, like Victor, and you can focus on early gold objectives, then you just accelerate your scaling. You don't have to wait until late game. It's 20 minutes, and he's already a massive threat. 8 stacks on the Darksteel. The Void Staff is even completed, even if you want to build magic resistance. So it's just like, what are your answers? Because he develops the, or what are your responses? Because JoJo's got the answers to even the magic resistance before you even build it. Makes the game very difficult. Okay, there for Cloud9 is some hope. The Ludens is now done for Fudge, so they can hope for their scaling threat of threading these rockets, you know, into the backline. Even then, though, there's a big shield here coming from Karma. So it's so difficult for those rockets to really make the meaningful difference, because Impact also and Inspired on the front lines will be blocking them. Fudge, though, trying to do work. He has package.
What an angle here. The on ulti. Devour from Isles does save Berserker for a while, but Danny's trying to chase someone who TP'd in. Trundle ulti pop. Fudge getting low though. Summon looking for the perfect flank. Dives on in, but it may be too deep. Blabber's gonna join him, but Fudge can't go in there. Summon left completely alone by his team. And EG just waltz on through. It's Inspired going back through. There's the ulti finally perfect in the choke point, and Danny is gonna free fire down Berserker. Somebody please give JoJo the last hit, and look at that, Kobe.
Oh my God.
3 more kills for JoJo's Victor.
JoJo, the rise of NA talent here. JoJo and Danny, the Bash brothers. Oh, Blabber might go for a suicide steal here. He's going on a one-way ticket, that's for sure.
Intercepted by Impact, good catch. Danny is gonna get blocked off by the pillar, but
he's
not
out.
gonna stop
He
Zero
got him
from
off
long.
Dragon and he's out. Fudge teleports in. They've actually delayed it.
No vision, so Fudge not going to start chucking rockets just yet, but again, Cloud9 have the same thing they had last game. They desperately want this Dragon Soul, and they're going to do everything they can to try and get it, but EG are going to try and stop them.
Yeah, I think they're going to commit everything. There's the Impact teleport. He doesn't have ultimate, though.
The poke from JoJo is just too much for these carries.
Everybody's back, Pastry. It's round 2, 5 on 5, all in.
Yeah, but you ran out of ultis. That's a very nice ult from Berserker, though the Ludens isn't enough to get a splash kill. Inspired is trapped in the pit, gets rooted by a Chomper, but it's just going to be a steal, and there is no steal. Cloud9 commit everything, and they get what they want. They get the soul point.
And as we alluded to, in this game, the Dragon Soul is more powerful for Cloud9 than in the previous game. They've got so many ways to make use of a Hextech Dragon. And Hextech Dragon Soul is more universally useful than the Ocean Soul. It's actually going to give a nice window for Cloud9 this time around if they can actually get it. Very big difference between the Soul and the 3 dragons, the Soul point here. So take another look at how it started, and you can kind of see what we're talking about with the Trundle ult goes on, and so you start to shred the front line, but then it's still very hard for them to commit, because you look at that Chaos Storm. The Chaos Storm alone gets both Cloud9 carries out of the fight while the Cloud9 front line dives in. It is literally a JoJo diff there. Chaos Storm zones the entire Cloud9 DPS, and we're out to Baron Pastry, 6K and drop it.
Summit doesn't have TP, by the way. I just checked. He's all the way down there in the bottom lane, so
no
this
flash for
is
Blabber
a
either.
flip or nothing. They're going to go in there with the Jinx Rocket. They can't steal the Baron. Can they get out alive? Looks like the answer is yes. But only a tower for Summit here in the bottom side. Not even close to the inhib.
Masterful use here by evil geniuses. Zoning them off that dragon. Even though they give up the dragon, they go for the early reset timers, Pastry. Reset timers, getting right back out to Baron. Fine, we will give you soul point. We gave you the entire soul last time around and beat you. And guess what? JoJo upgrading to the Medjais. That's what I love to see. 9-kill Victor with 10 stacks Medjais, and he's feeling confident. His stopwatch has been broken, so guess what?
Bez is on his.
Upgrade that sucker into a shiny new Zhonya's. He can do the same exact play again, and he has flash. He's level 15. The level 2 Chaos Storm already was able to almost kill Fudge and zone out Berserker in the last fight. Imagine what the level 3 Chaos Storm will do for JoJo.
could win in this game. Could win in this series, to be honest. EG looking very good so far in game number 2, poised to put Cloud9 on the back foot in elimination territory. As again, this is our final best of 5 before we ship off to Houston. EG would love to be team number 3, joining everyone else for finals weekend. And Cloud9 have not missed in spring for a while. This one will hurt.
It certainly will, considering how dominant they were in the beginning of spring split. EG, though, they've got a lot to do still in this series, Pastry. This is still a very young setup with both carries from Danny and JoJo having yet to experience an LCS finals. They're marching their way straight towards one, though, and Summit wants to stop them.
Yeah, oh, he went all the way over. Danny actually managed to flash that wall, and Summit's completely out of position as a result. Impact's getting shredded, but they just don't have the damage. The Chompers, I think, are going to save C9, but Danny is going off. Zeri is disgusting as Danny is going to find 2, make it 3. The man has the penta in his eye.
Another penta! Go for it! Go for it!
Danny penta! It seems to happen all the time. JoJo, you absolute jerk. There we go. No, what's going on? Where's Danny? He doesn't care. He doesn't. He's waiting. Danny's going to give it to him. There's the penta-kill. A donation from Cloud9 as EG take game number 2.
Danny, the penta-kill machine. All right, this one was given to him by both Fudge and his teammates, and yet still, he delivers again.
Would you like to know an NA player? Well, never mind, we'll hold that thought for a second. Summit trying to keep them off. They actually can't finish again.
Oh,
give me a little tidbit. Would you like to know what other North American AD carry with a lot of pentakills in his career? Double lift.
Okay, yeah. Honestly, though, like,
Danny's looking pretty good for a very young player.
Yeah, that
one's fraudulent.
That is one of the saddest last skills of a pentakill that I have ever seen. Danny didn't even want it. He
wanted to win.
Exactly. And I actually admire that mentality in a playoff series from one of these young players that we're talking about, where Danny, in this high pressure elimination playoff series, you know, he gets jumped on by Summit. He's right over the wall, jumps over, brings Summit with him. They annihilate him in the team fight. And what is he thinking? He's not thinking, oh, great, my stats. Oh, great, I can get a pentakill. He's thinking, end the game. I don't care who takes the kills.
All right, well, ulti burn by Isles to save Berserker. EG running down mid to try and take out the Nexus. Once again, C9 find themselves with a bare Nexus, and EG bearing down on them in another game here. Here we go, Summit finds the angle, but again, Danny might just find his way out. He's low with the shields. They're going to keep him alive. He does finally die, but JoJo takes the reins in the team fight. Make it double-digit kills for the Phenom as EG are going to storm through this base, take out the Nexus, and push Cloud9. You must win 3 games in a row. Get the tweets ready, because EG are 2-0 up in this series.
Nicole, buy the plane tickets now if you haven't. Evil Geniuses looking towards Houston with big eyes. They are hungry, Pastry Time, and they are following in the footsteps, the battle plan versus Cloud9.
Look at that penta, buddy.
Clear and straightforward. Danny was all business. He was taking down objectives. Take down in the inhibitor. He doesn't care. You can finish off the kills. Take it, Impact. Take it, JoJo. Doesn't matter. He goes over to finish the job, though. They force him to. They force speed that penta. Even Fudge was like, come on, man. Get your penta.
All right.
Come get it.
EG all smiles. By the way, the players walk out the same way when they're leaving the stage. I saw inspired, run over to Fudge and start chatting to him. So probably talking about the gift that Danny was given there. But I agree with you. I think that kind of poise, that kind of truly competitive mentality of like, yeah, I don't want it. I don't care what my KDA is. I just care that the enemy Nexus explodes before mine does.
And EG as a team have been all business in this series.
Yes.
They have not chased stats. They have not chased dragons. They have been straight to the Nexus. Get gold early on these carries and finish the game. That is it. They want to wrap this up.
Yeah, we could have an early day. I hope that doesn't happen. We'll have to see. But Come join us in Houston next week, and you could win some free stuff. Who doesn't like free stuff, Kobe?
I love free stuff, baby.
EJ, all ticket holders are automatically entered for a chance to win a jersey signed by one of the teams competing at Spring Finals. You can check out lolesports.com for terms and conditions. So while you check out all the details,